hello, lovelies, and welcome to Love Life with Court. As always, I'm your host, Courtney Irving, and if this is your first time tuning in, well, welcome to the family. This is the second episode being recorded in the LLWC studio, and now all LLWC podcasts are available not just by my voice, but also by video. So if you're tuning in right now and all you can hear is my voice, make sure you either go to YouTube or Spotify and you'll be in the studio with me like we're having a conversation face to face. And if you're not interested, that's completely fine too, but come and join if you are. Anywho, let's get started in today's episode because we have one for you. Today, we are going to be talking, and excuse my language, we're going to be talking about a lot of shit. We are diving into maybe some deeper than usual for the LLWC podcast, stuff that is going to maybe challenge your beliefs, challenge your fears. And I'm not just using that loosely because today we are talking about fear. And this episode is for everyone, no matter if you just graduated high school, you are a mother of 5, you are in your midlife and not sure where to go next, you're in your late 80s, whoever and whatever you're doing, this episode will help you because today we are talking about the most basic human emotion, which, as I said, is fear. Fear is the reason we do everything. It's the reason we fall in love. It's the reason we go to work every day. It is the reason we take care of our health or maybe lack doing so. It's the reason we have kids. It's the reason that we live, essentially, because what fear does is it determines our ability to enjoy life or simply exist. But what is the greatest fear we all have? And based on everything that I just talked about, falling in love, working, taking care of your health, having kids, what do you think the greatest fear among human species, our species, humankind, what do you think the greatest fear is? I can tell you it's not spiders, it's not heights, but it's death. Every fear that you have ever felt can be rooted in the fear of death, whether it's the fear of failure, being ridiculed, not being good enough, not fitting in, the fear of success. It all fundamentally comes down to fearing death. And even things like spending more money than you have, cutting off ties with family members, or keeping those family members around that don't deserve to, staying at a job that you do not like just simply to have the status that it brings you, partying and drinking so much that your body can't keep up, but you don't want to miss an opportunity to have fun. All of this can be rooted to the fear of death. And essentially, all this leads to is the fear that you will one day die and not have lived your life to its optimal. Now, although fear definitely has its place, if you're going to go jump off a mountain, you don't have a bungee cord attached to you or some kind of parachute, it's good that your fear will kick in and be like, maybe not today. We'll revisit it tomorrow. But what can happen to a lot of us is that fear can become so debilitating that it prevents us from living a basic life, let alone a great life. Because so many of these fears that we have essentially relate to the fear of death, if we do not begin to heal this at a subconscious level, you will never live your finest life or materialize your highest purpose as a result of always being in this state of fear. Now, how do we face the fear of death and begin working on dissolving this fear? Well, we all know that no matter what our career is, our relationship status, our net worth, our accomplishments that we have acquired throughout our life, we all will end up in the same destination, which is ultimately death. And what I want to do before we discuss this further is I want to read you a passage of Robin Sharma. He's an amazing author, and he wrote the book, The Everyday Hero. And he talks about and coins this concept as death as just a hotel upgrade. And this really shifted my perspective on being more willing to face fear and challenge fear. So let me read it to you quickly. I have a fear within me because I am human. My voice truly shook in terror when I was asked to speak in front of 10 people in the biology lab at university. When I meet celebrities, visit with someone new, or am questioned intensely by border control agents, I generally get nervous. As an introvert, I am uncomfortable in social situations such as weddings, birthday celebrations, and the ultimate torture chamber, dinner parties. If there's one thing that has never frightened me at all, it's dying. I recently had a conversation with a good friend about death. He was speaking of how he spends a lot of time thinking about his ending. He seems to worry over how it will happen, what the experience will look like, and whether they'll be playing loud classical music on the other side. For me, I'm actually looking forward to dying. If you don't mind me saying, I must be clear. I love life intensely, immensely, and I'm having quite a ride. I live for my family. I adore my craft and the privilege to serve. I feel blessed to have such wonderful people in my life. I totally get that life's a fleeting voyage and that all ends too soon, and that even with its inevitable tragedies, each day on earth is a very precious and perfect gift. Yet I'm not concerned about leaving because I sincerely believe that after our bodies degrade to dust, all that we truly are continues. Our highest, wisest, strongest, undefeatable, noblest, eternal, and all loving selves. Our souls return to the source in which they came and advance towards infinity. And I don't think this place that they go back to or more preciously become fully immersed in is a bad place that we should be frightened of entering with hot fires and nasty rulers of the underworld waving their pitchforks at angels and swearing at saints. No, not at all. I believe that after we die, we simply go back to the light, a state of being that's complete creativity, total truth, epic bliss, limitless love, and a place with really, really great coffee. Okay, maybe I'm going too far on the coffee part. Yet please allow me to offer up this philosophical rant in another way. It's almost like, as on Earth, we are staying at a 3 or maybe 4-star hotel. Then when we die, nothing tragic happens really. We actually get upgraded to a 5-star property. The previous place looked good, but the new place will blow your mind. Why would you resist the transition when it's an even better destination? Now, I really do believe that when we die, we go to a better place. So how can we move forward from resisting death and befriend death, embrace death? Embracing fear and the fear of death. To overcome it, we need to thus challenge it. When you fear anything in life, it is simply stemming from a place of uncertainty and the unknown outcome, just like death. We cannot control when it will come, but what we can control is what we're going to do in the meantime. So, first things first is recognizing what feelings of fear look like for you and break down if it is a rational fear or an irrational fear. Like I was talking about earlier, if you're going to jump off a mountain, you better make sure you have a parachute with you, or you should be fearful of that. Now, are you scared of being attacked by a bear, which is a rational fear if you're face to face with a bear? Or are you scared to talk to the pizza guy that's delivering your pizza, which may be a little bit of an irrational fear? Now, what I want you to do is challenge every irrational fear that you have in your life. Find an opportunity to feel fearful every single day. And what happens over time is that we reprogram our mind to where these situations of fear, and especially these irrational fears, may come up. And instead, we meet them with excitement and embrace it and challenge it. So, anything that we fear in life that may be stemming from the fear of death, and we may be missing out on opportunities because of that, quitting your job and doing your full time passion of what you love doing, or letting go of people in your life that no longer serve you or benefit you. Now, what happens over time when we challenge these fears, challenging these irrational fears? We begin to reprogram our mind that when we look at death and we look at these situations that we fear that are correlated to the fear of death, we no longer fear it. We are no longer resisting it, but instead embracing it and challenging it and we begin to feel excited to bring on these new opportunities. And obviously, when you are challenging these fears organically, new opportunities will begin to come up in your life. So, what I want you to do, and this is going to be such a simple episode today because I'm only giving you one thing to do to completely open up your life in 360. Now, do you want to be someone who allows the fear to control them, or do you want to chase your fears instead of them chasing you? Because if you want to chase your fears and have all these amazing, crazy opportunities coming up in your life, I need 5 minutes of your time. 5 minutes. That's it. And really, by giving me 5 minutes of your time, you're giving that time right back to you because this is going to benefit you. I want you to sit down and draw up a list of things that you are afraid of, whether it is public speaking, spending time on your own, wearing vibrant and noisy clothing, trying new foods. It can be simple, it can be huge. And what you're going to do with that list is evaluate, is it an irrational fear or is it an irrational fear? Only time it is a rational fear is if your life is in danger or someone else's life is in danger. Write it down. Start writing down what you fear. What are foods that you are nervous to try? Right? That simplest thing, that's a fear. That when you begin to get that feeling of, I don't know if I could do that, that's fear. But instead, we're going to take that and turn it into excitement. And anything that is irrational, I want you to find opportunities in your life to face them, no matter how small. Together, these fears that you will be overcoming will become huge. And let me give you an example. For a long time, putting myself out there on social media was a huge, huge fear for me. So, what I did, just like I'm telling you, I wrote down all these little things that I feared: talking to strangers, engaging with others on the internet, like such small, simple things, but it gave me so much fear because I feared not being accepted, and also fearing that if I do take this risk of going on social media and posting things, will people make fun of me? Will people unfollow me? Now I really don't give a shit what other people think because I face these fears, and now I've quit my 9 to 5 and I'm doing this full time. So if you are taking these little fears, I promise you that they will become huge accomplishments. So all you need to do is just take 5 minutes, write down all your fears, evaluate if they are irrational and rational, and any irrational fears that you have, you are going to begin doing them every single day. Find an opportunity to challenge your fears and embrace your fears and chase your fears instead of them chasing you. That is today's episode. We're keeping her short and sweet. And as always, a friendly reminder to not only be kind to others, but also to yourself. We will see you next week. Mwah.